The word hospice hung in the air, heavy and ominous. A word that carried with it the weight of finality. My loved one, once giant of a man, sat shrunken in his chair, his eyes reflecting a maelstrom of emotions I could only begin to imagine. Fear, confusion, betrayal. We had known, of course, the doctor's prognosis had been clear, but to hear that word, hospice, spoken in the hushed tones reserved for condolences and goodbyes, felt like a punch to the gut. It was the moment we acknowledged the inevitable, and the weight of that knowledge settled upon us like a shroud. My granddaughter, age 5, didn't know what was going on, but she wanted to see her beloved papa. But I didn't want her to have that vision, nor risk her getting hurt. The nurses arrived with smiles that felt practiced and hollow. They spoke of comfort and dignity, but their words rang hollow in the face of the inevitable. We were told to make him comfortable, to cherish the time we had left. But how do you cherish stolen moments? How do you find peace in the face of such overwhelming loss? The days that followed were a blur of medication schedules, hushed whispers, and the ever-present smell of cleaning products. The hospice nurses came and went, their smiles strained, their reassurances falling flat. He began to complain of pain, a dull ache that intensified with each passing day. The medication, a cocktail of pills and liquids, seemed to have little effect. His once booming voice was reduced to a raspy whisper, punctuated by groans of discomfort. We watched, helpless and heartbroken, as the man we loved slowly slipping away. His hands, once strong and calloused, now picked restlessly at the sheets. His eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape from the prison of his own body. The hospice nurses, when we could get a hold of them, offered platitudes and empty reassurances. They adjusted his medication, promising relief that never came. They spoke of managing his symptoms, but it felt like we were watching him drown, and all they were doing was adjusting the life preserver, never actually throwing him a lifeline. The whispers of discomfort grew into moans of pain, escalating with a terrifying rapidity. The medication, now at its highest dosage, seemed to have lost its efficacy entirely. He was trapped in a cycle of pain and sedation, his moments of lucidity filled with terror and confusion. We pleaded with the hospice nurses for help, our voices thick with desperation. They spoke of comfort measures, but their words rang hollow in the face of my loved one's obvious suffering. It felt like they were following a script, their humanity lost in the rote routine of end-of-life care. One night, his agony reached a fever pitch. I heard strange sounds coming from what I thought was the outside of my house. My neighbor Bob always tried to scare me, but he wasn't there. I ran towards his bedroom, hearing this terrible banging noise, but I could just peek one eye in and saw my loved one stuck between the bed and the door, banging his head into the wall over and over. Head wounds bleed so much I couldn't see everything. I called hospice. They said they were too busy. I told them he was banging his head into the wall. Sorry, they said. I ran God, my neighbor Bob, to help. He had been in the war. Strong, but also 80. He looked in and said, "My God, Kelly, what is he doing?" I said I can't get in there to help him, and neither could he. So I ran and got another neighbor that happily helped between the three of us. We got him in bed, but his face was purple, red, green, goose eggs all over, and his face the size of a balloon. I tried ice, no way. We dared to hope that the worst was over, that he had finally found some measure of peace. We were wrong. It was merely the calm before the storm. Hospice called, asked if anything was broken. I said no, but asked if he should go to the ER. No, I'll be there in the morning. I slept in the chair next to him. My mom went home, and my youngest slept on the couch. I couldn't sleep, unsure of his next move. The CNA came in and said, "Heard you had a bad night last night." I said yes. She looked closer. There was blood still on the walls. She said she needed a photo to send her boss, and left. A few hours later, a knock on the door. "Can I help you?" I said. "Yes, I'm here to speak to your loved one." I said, "I'm sorry, man. My loved one is sleeping. He's on hospice. Can I help you?" "Yes. There's been a charge of abuse to the elderly, and it's against you. I could have fallen to the floor." I said, "Please, come in. His room is right there." I went and got my neighbors. My mom and son were there. She said, "Well, he isn't talking." I said, "Man, he hasn't been eating, drinking, or talking, or walking." She interviewed everyone there. Got the same story, and then took me to another room. I said, "I've been doing nothing but keeping him safe. Would you like to see who is hurting who?" I rolled up my sleeves, my jeans, my shirt, showed over 100 photos of me being bruised. She said, "I'm so sorry." Said she would finish her report and send to me by Monday, but was not pursuing anything else. This wasn't peaceful. This wasn't dignified. This was agony. This was chaos. This was horrific.